Hey guys, welcome back. For you, this is going to be the second match here that you'll see. Unfortunately, I have to say that I had some trouble when I was recording match 2. The recording got deleted because my computer ran out of memory while I was recording, and then when I was trying to retrieve it, it didn't quite work out, and I can't seem to find it in game history. My game history is blank, so I can't even go back and watch that. But we did win. We beat Blue White Merfolk 2-1. And then when I was trying to start recording match 3, the internet completely crashed. So I'm really doing my best here to get you guys content while I'm on vacation. But this may not work out as I intended. But we're going to do our best here to actually get you some games to watch. But yeah, that's what it is. We're in technically match 4 now, 2-1 in this league. Looks like we're up against probably Eldrazi. Hand is not looking great, but it could come together if we find some white mana. And if we dodge an Eldrazi Temple right now. Because turn 2 Thought-Knot Seer is going to be really difficult to deal with. Alright, so at least not a turn 2 Thought-Knot Seer. Sky Spawner, still going to give us a bit of a headache down the road. We really want to find some white mana and make sure we don't get hit by a Thought-Knot Seer next turn. See if we can find it. Alright, so that's a white mana source. I mean, we'll take it. This will allow us next turn to potentially, if we can counter something this turn, then we can play Lingering Souls next turn, which is going to be pretty helpful for us. We can also run out of Champion of Wits to try to dig for the second white source, and that'll get us. Yeah, so we can't do anything about Ancient Stirrings, unfortunately. Reality Smasher. Oh boy. Okay. Alright. So far, if they don't hit their second land... Alright, there we go. There's a land. Imagine the Scion's getting sacked for... Thought-Knot Seer mana? Another... Thing is, I feel like I have to counter this, right? We know one of their cards is a Reality Smasher. We don't want them to hit us for a bunch next turn. And we can at least try to set up for a turn 4 Verdict now. See if we can find another white mana. Alright, not quite. We could kill a dork here, but what's good is if we find the second mana source, we can kind of bait out the Reality Smasher. And there we go, there it is. So, Fatal Push might be a bit dead down the road, but is it more dead than Elishnorn? So I think actually this is a fair discard here, considering we're planning on sweeping the board next turn. That's of course under the assumption our opponent's just going to jam it, which I think they are. I do think that jamming it is probably their best line to win. Because they play Smasher, that's... If they have another land, it's even worse for us, right? So they play land, play Smasher, swing at us. Alright, yeah, swing at us for a bunch. And this not only leaves them with 4 mana post-Verdict, but it also means that we're going to be at a low life total as well. They're going to have a lot of live draws, regardless of what we do. So they're holding the Scion back. Alright, they're not holding the Scion back. No matter where we block, we're gonna stop 1 point of damage. So That's how we're gonna do it. So this verdict is going to be helpful, but it's definitely not everything. Logic Knot is pretty good if we can stabilize. That's where the main issue is going to be, right? And so we cleaned up the board here. Next turn we can go... Okay, sure. Displacer is actually pretty annoying in the face of Lingering Souls, right? You can just blink the tokens. Alright, so we would have loved to see a fetch land there. Unfortunately, I think here we just have to go play Lingering Souls, and we can Fatal Push the Eldrazi Displacer at end of turn. Assuming, obviously, one of these gets removed in some way. But we're definitely going to do that at end of turn, because we want to hold up Logic Knot for any crazy shenanigans off the top, like a Reality Smasher. That would definitely hurt our chances of winning. So there goes one. And I'll go ahead and cast Fatal Push. Sure. So we traded. Thoughtseize is a liability. I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyways. And we got something, which is great. And now we can still hold up Logic Knot. And we can hopefully set up for a Champion of Wits next turn, which would be fantastic for us. So they have 3 mana open. Yeah, well, I mean... 1, 2... 3... I'm gonna get rid of the Fatal Pushes and the Mana Leak. Oh wait, that's one too much. I'm gonna leave the Mana Leak in there in case we draw something like a Snapcaster Mage. And now X equals 4. They can't pay for it. And now there's a lot of things off the top of our deck that are very live. Even an untapped land is very live. Alright, Gifts is pretty good too. So we're just gonna keep back 1 Spirit in case they draw a Reality Smasher off the top so that we don't die. But overall, we're in a pretty good spot right now. What are the chances? I mean, yeah, it's in. So now fetch lands are pretty dead cards. The question is, what are we getting with this gift ungiven, right? Not quite sure. Let's go ahead and take a look at our library here. Probably want Unburial Rites. And then we can go for like a value. Because if we get Elish Norn just completely clogs up the board. However, if we get an Iona and name white... What we can do is we can get Unburial Rites, another Gift, a Snapcaster Mage, and a Path to Exile. Will that do it? We can get a Lingering Souls. Alright, so we'll do Unburial Rites, Snapcaster Mage, Lingering Souls, because if they give us, yeah, no matter what they do, we can cast Unburial Rites. So I'm okay with that. And Lingering Souls is extra bodies for once we end up casting Elish or reanimating Elishnorn. So my guess here, we'll get Unburial Rites and Lingering Souls back. And then next turn we can go Unburial Rites, Snapcaster Mage, and yeah. So that's what I thought would happen. So the question is, do we attack with the Spirit? And I think the answer is no. I think we just hold back, hold the fort. We're dead to a Path to Exile regardless, but at least we're giving ourselves the most outs here. So we can actually take over the game. This is kind of the control dream, right? Stabilize at 1. Not the dream, of course, but it feels pretty good. Here we can. So we have a lot of options. We can flood the board with a bunch of creatures, or we can go for value plays. I think flooding the board with a bunch of creatures is better. Let's lead with Serum Visions. Collective Brutality is pretty bad right now. We could, however, lead with do 2 modes. We can reveal hand and drain. Discard souls and see what our opponent is working with. This puts us up to 3 life and makes me feel a bit more comfortable attacking out here. Of course, if our opponent had Path to Exile, they would have used it. Blue mana. I guess we'll pay, right? Now we have a bit of a life buffer here. It's minuscule, but it's something. And now if we attack with everything we set up for lethal next turn. Whew, Elishnorn doing work in this matchup. Alright, and now we pass the turn. And our opponent better have a way to win here. Alright, we got there. Whew. I would say this matchup is definitely not easy. So let's go ahead and bring in Rejections, D-Sphere, Stroke, Blessed Alliance. I think that's about all we need in this matchup, right? Fail Push is a little shaky. I mean, it's important to deal with excuse me, Noble Hierarch. God, I can't think right now. Iona, naming white, not very strong. I think Elishnorn is definitely the stronger reanimate target. And maybe cut manually because it's pretty bad late game. Maybe cut one champion because they're very aggressive and it doesn't block well in this matchup. Yeah, let's cut one champion. It really doesn't block well. Yep, let's run it back. Oh yeah, this is a great hand. Of course, it's a great hand against a non-cavern start, you know, but like Noble Hierarch plus Cavern, like turn 3 Thought-Knot Seer uncounterable, that would leave me make me a very sad person. Alright, based on what my opponent gets here, I may decide. So they get a brush land. Question is, do we go Serum Visions turn 1? Or do we hold up Ceremonious Rejection? Oof. I think I'll still go Serum Visions turn 1 to make sure we hit land drops down the road. Champion, I guess that's an okay draw. I'm not sure when we'll have time to cast it, but based on our hand here, I think we'll have time. Of course, this is all assuming they don't have a Cavern of Souls. Now, if they do, we can throw away these rejections to the Champion of Wits. Sure. Basically, rejection will do anything that Mana Leak does here, so this is a good turn to get down our Colonnade. So I'm not too scared of this Displacer because in about 2 turns we're gonna sweep up the board. Of course, now we're feeling the pressure. So 4 damage a turn, definitely not a small amount of damage. All right. So there's the Champion of Wits. Not too comfortable running that out there right now. I'd rather hold up either Mana Leak or Rejection. It is unfortunate that we can't actually kill this Displacer, though. That's what's rough. And now they have their blue mana set up. And they could very easily have Stubborn Denial in hand. So we kind of want them to, in a way, like tap out of blue mana for this turn. It's unlikely to happen unless they play an Eldrazi Displacer and tap the Noble Hierarch at the same time. If this is a Thought-Knot Seer, looks like it's a Reality Smasher. That is going to get countered pretty quickly on my end here. Now we get smacked for 4. Our opponent still has Stubborn Denial mana up. I think we can wait a turn on it. That's the thing. Getting pressured. Kind of punished for not keeping up turn 1 Stubborn Denial. Definitely wasn't thinking. Didn't think through that decision long enough, I think. Let's get another Hollowed Fountain here. So in case we draw a Path to Exile or something like that, if my deck would let me undo that. All right, come on, Magic Online. Not right now. Don't got time for this. And now we have Champion of Wits. Yes. Can discard another champion plus Lingering Souls. Set up some good value cards in there. Alright, looks like our opponent is paying 3 mana to... Wow, that's aggressive. Let's see, we can probably discard... Yeah, we can discard both of these lands. Our hand is pretty good right now. So we're going to go down to 6 here. But what's great is we'll be able to untap and get in some more damage with Champion of Wits here. Wow. They're committing more to the board. This is great. Alright, that's less great, but still good enough. So here, let's go ahead and attack. And we can sweep up the board and keep up. Stubborn denial, or excuse me, have I been saying stubborn denial? I'm talking about rejection. Yeah. The hope is, of course, that they don't have a lot to refuel with. Like, worst case scenario here would be Reality Smasher with Stubborn Denial up. They're tapping out of it, though, so my guess is they don't have it. Drowner. Yeah. Not today, Drowner. Not today. That's a land. So what we can do here is flashback Lingering Souls. Get something on the board. Keep up snap stubborn denial or snap rejection. And then next turn we can eternalize Champion of Wits and start getting some card advantage going. If they path a token, rest in peace. Ooh, ooh, that is so good right now. Oh my god. Yeah, that is in. Okay. Snapcaster Beats? I think it's a, what is it, 2-turn clock with Colonnade? Of course, if they have Path to Exile, we're going to feel pretty stupid, but I don't think there's anything that can go too wrong here. I think we should still have lethal next turn, assuming our opponent doesn't draw some crazy cards. Eldrazi. Ooh. Oh my gosh, that's actually a great draw here. That's also a great draw. So we'll lead on that. And that should be lethal, because he only has enough for 2 activations? Oh, no, okay. Yeah, that should still be lethal, right? Yeah. That was a good draw off the top, right? I mean, they get a good draw, we get a good draw. It's only fair. And they don't even... Wow. And there we go. So we beat Bant Eldrazi. And I really wish we could have had the chance to play round 3. Because now we're 3-1, and the only match that we lost was timing out because my internet crashed. So I definitely apologize for that, and I will hopefully make up for that with some extra content when I get back from overseas. But the way it's going right now, this internet is not stable enough to consistently do this. All right, so stay tuned for the 5th and final round of this Modern Competitive League. See you soon. Hey guys, welcome to the closing statement. So it came a bit early, and this is because if you haven't noticed from the 2 videos that I've uploaded so far, you'll notice that I've been having a lot of issues. You might have noticed some lag. I mentioned that my match 2 got deleted because of memory issues. My match 3, I disconnected and didn't even see the entire game. Didn't even see my opening hand, and then when I logged back in, finally, the match was done. Match 4, thankfully I was able to get to you. Match 5, similar thing happened to match 2, where my computer ran out of memory, and it just wasn't able to handle it. So I think, first and foremost, as a content creator, I've learned something very important here, is that quality is so much more important than just releasing content. I value my time, and you value your time as well. So moving forward, I really hope that this issue will never come up again. I do apologize for all the issues. This is a deck that I really was excited to showcase to you guys, but it's just not the right time. Especially with all the things going on in my life right now, I think it's important to take a step back, and then once I get back to the States, I will get back to the usual routine of putting out, 3 or 5 videos on like a Friday night, Friday afternoon sort of thing. Because I think from what I got from the comments, that's what most of you want. You want all the videos at once. You don't want to trickle the teas. That doesn't do much for any of us, right? Like I said, my time is valuable, and so is yours. So moving forward, I have understood what you guys want. And videos will definitely come at a fixed rate, in the sense that they will all come out at once. With that said, I do want to talk to you guys about the matchups that you didn't get to see. So match 1, we got to play against Red White Prison, which is a pretty interesting matchup, and I think we did pretty well. Having blue in our deck definitely helps in a matchup like that. Match 2, you guys didn't see. I played against Blue-White Merfolk, and that matchup basically revolved around, clearing their board with sweepers, spot removal on their Master of Waves, playing around Aether Vial as best as we can, and then I won that matchup 2-1. Pretty close games, actually. But what actually, Elish Norn came in it was Iona. Iona in game 3, naming blue, and Sunscored Champion holding down the fort on the ground. I actually did a lot of work in that matchup. So I really enjoy this Unburial Rites package. It honestly feels like some of the best parts of the deck, especially against decks that can't hate you. Match 3, didn't get to watch, didn't get to play even because I got disconnected. Match 4, you did get to see. Got to play against Bant Eldrazi, which, actually the deck did surprisingly well there. It kind of just, kill their threats and turn the corner. And that's, what this deck aims to do, really, especially in the creature-based matchups. Game 5, or Match 5, you did not get to see. And that was against Eldrazi Tron. And we basically got demolished both games. Thought-Knot Seer, it was like a triple Thought-Knot Seer in Game 1, and then Game 2, they had very fast Tron online, and it was so hard to come back from. We were able to land an Elish Norn, but they cast an Allah's Dust. And so it was definitely a hard matchup, one that I will definitely reconsider moving forward and how to approach that. Because that's a very popular deck right now, and that's not something you want to, have difficulty playing against at the end of the day, in my opinion. So the deck may get reconfigured, either main board, sideboard, to be able to handle, Eldrazi Tron in general, just a bit better, aside from relying on Ceremonious Rejections in the sideboard. So overall, let's talk, the overall record we went was 3-2, and that's with disconnecting, an entire matchup. Could have even been 4-1. We don't know, right? But with that said, I think the deck has a lot of potential for a first iteration. This deck, blew it out of the water, in my opinion. I think it performed on almost every front. I might change some numbers here and there. This Think Twice doesn't feel like it really belongs. Might cut that. Might cut one Brutality and move it to the sideboard. And honestly, it felt very cohesive. There were very few hands where I felt like, wow, this does nothing. Because most of your hands do something. And that's really important for a control deck. We have this proactive and reactive element. And we're not just waiting to kill all of our opponent's stuff. We're okay, we're going to kill your stuff right now, and then all of a sudden we're turning the corner, and now you can't even cast any of your spells. So that's what I really like about the deck. Definitely feels, the Iona definitely feels a little worse with all the Eldrazi in the format. But with that said, I think it's still pretty integral to the strategy. These are great reanimation targets. Very, very happy with how the deck performed. I also really like the sideboard. Might cut a Dispel. It doesn't seem like it's too relevant in too many matchups. May add something else. We shall see for sure. But overall, I just want to say thank you so much if you've been watching, tuning in. I really do apologize for all the hiccups that we've had along the way here. I hope you're not too disappointed that you don't get a series for a while. It's going to be about, 2.5 weeks before I'm able to come out with something else. But that's just the way it's going to have to be if, you guys want consistent good content. And that's what I want. I want to have that both. I want to look good, but I also want you guys to enjoy the content. And for me to do that, I do need to take a break during this time. I thought I could do it. Can't do it. Do apologize for that. But overall, I'm very impressed with the deck. Incredibly impressed. So thank you so much for watching the 2 matches. I know it's very shorter than anything I've ever really done in the past. But once I get back to the States and have access to stable internet, then we will definitely be seeing each other again. So thanks so much for tuning in today, and stay tuned in a couple weeks. See you soon.